Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we re-journeying back in time to witness one of history's most dramatic and pivotal moments, the fall of Babylon. This wasn't just the collapse of a city. It was the end of an empire, a turning point that reshaped the ancient world and echoed through millennia of prophecy and legend. So, set the scene. It's 539 BC. The Neo-Babylonian Empire is the undisputed superpower of the Middle East. Its capital, Babylon, is the largest city in the world, a marvel of engineering and opulence. Imagine massive walls, rumored to be so thick that chariot races could be held on top of them. The legendary Hanging Gardens, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world, cascade with lush greenery in the middle of the desert. The Ishtar Gate, covered in brilliant blue-glazed bricks and depictions of mythical beasts, stands as a testament to the city's power and devotion to its gods. At the heart of this empire is King Nabonidus. Now, Nabonidus is a bit of an interesting character. While technically the king, he was more of an antiquarian and a religious reformer than a traditional ruler. He spent much of his reign away from the capital, excavating old temples and promoting the worship of the moon god Sin, which didn't sit well with the powerful priesthood of Marduk, Babylon's chief deity. In his absence, his son, Belshazzar, ruled as regent in Babylon. Belshazzar was confident, perhaps overly so. He trusted in the city's impenetrable fortifications and its vast stores of food and water. To him, and to many Babylonians, the idea that their great city could ever fall was simply unthinkable. They felt secure, protected by their gods and their colossal walls. But a storm was gathering on the horizon, a storm named Cyrus the Great. Cyrus was the visionary leader of the Persians and the Medes. He had been consolidating power, creating a vast and formidable empire that was expanding rapidly. By 539 BC, his Achaemenid Empire was knocking on Babylon's door. Unlike the Babylonians, who often ruled through force and deportation, Cyrus had a reputation for being a liberator. He was known for his tolerance and for respecting the customs and religions of the peoples he conquered. This brilliant strategy often meant that cities would open their gates to him without a fight. As Cyrus's army approached, panic began to set in outside the capital. But inside Babylon, Belshazzar decided to throw a massive feast. This is the famous scene described in the book of Daniel in the Bible. While the Persian army is literally outside, Belshazzar and 1,000 of his nobles are drinking wine from sacred vessels looted from the temple in Jerusalem, praising their own gods of gold, silver, and stone. Then, something extraordinary happens. A disembodied hand appears and writes a cryptic message on the palace wall. Mene, mene, tekel, upharsin. The party grinds to a halt. Terror seizes Belshazzar. He calls for his wise men, his astrologers and diviners, but none can decipher the writing. Finally, the queen remembers the Hebrew prophet Daniel, who had served under previous kings and was known for his wisdom. Daniel is brought before the terrified regent. He doesn't just read the words. He interprets their devastating meaning. God has numbered the days of your kingdom and brought it to an end. Tekel, you have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. Upharsin, your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. It was a divine eviction notice. And according to the biblical account, that very night, Belshazzar was slain. So how did it happen? How did the Persians breach the unbreachable city? Ancient historians like Herodotus and Xenophon give us the details, and it's a story of incredible military genius. Cyrus knew a direct assault on Babylon's walls would be suicidal. It would lead to a long drawn-out siege that could last for years. So, he devised a brilliant and audacious plan. The mighty Euphrates River flowed directly through the center of Babylon, passing under its massive walls. This was both a source of life for the city, and as it turned out, its greatest vulnerability. Upstream from the city, Cyrus ordered his engineers to dig a massive canal, diverting the flow of the Euphrates into a nearby basin. As the water level in the riverbed dropped, it became shallow enough for soldiers to wade through. Under the cover of darkness, while the city's leadership was distracted by their feast, Persian troops quietly marched into the heart of Babylon, right under the walls, through the river channel. The inner gates leading from the riverbanks into the city streets had been carelessly left open. The Persian soldiers poured into the city, catching the Babylonians completely by surprise. There was very little fighting. The city that believed itself to be impregnable fell in a single night, almost without a struggle. It was a strategic masterpiece. The fall of Babylon was a seismic event. It marked the end of the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the dawn of the Persian Empire, which would become the largest empire the world had yet seen. Cyrus the Great made a triumphal and peaceful entry into the city. True to his reputation, he didn't destroy Babylon. Instead, he presented himself as a legitimate successor and a liberator. One of his first and most famous acts was to issue the Cyrus Cylinder, an ancient clay artifact that is sometimes considered the world's first charter of human rights. On it, he declared the freedom of worship and allowed deported peoples to return to their homelands. This had profound consequences, especially for the Jewish people. They had been held captive in Babylon since Nebuchadnezzar II conquered Jerusalem decades earlier. Cyrus allowed them to return to Judah and rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. This single act ended the Babylonian exile, preserving the Jewish identity and faith, and setting the stage for the future development of both Judaism and Christianity. Without Cyrus, the history of the world might look very different. But the story of Babylon doesn't end there. Its fall became more than just a historical event. It became a powerful symbol. In religious texts, particularly in the Bible's book of Revelation, Babylon is used as a code word. It represents a worldly system of idolatry, luxury, pride, and rebellion against God. The fall of Babylon in Revelation isn't about a literal city, but about the ultimate judgment and collapse of this corrupt world system at the end of time. The historical fall of the city, happening in a single night at the height of its arrogance, due to its own complacency, became the perfect metaphor for divine judgment. The pride of Belshazzar, the writing on the wall, the sudden and swift collapse, all these elements are woven into a larger prophetic narrative about the transient nature of human power and the ultimate sovereignty of God. So, when we look back at the fall of Babylon, we're seeing two stories at once. There's the incredible historical account of military strategy and political change, the story of Cyrus's genius and the end of an empire. And then there's the enduring, powerful symbolic story that has captivated minds for centuries. A timeless warning against pride, arrogance, and the illusion of earthly invincibility. It's a reminder that even the mightiest walls can be breached, and the greatest empires can crumble, sometimes in the most unexpected ways. The echoes of that fateful night in 539 BC continue to resonate with us today, a testament to a city whose fall was as legendary as its rise. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into history. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys into the past. Let me know in the comments what other historical events you'd like to explore. Until next time, stay curious.